Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. Glad to have you with us again as we try to unlock some pretty profound knowledge, maybe some surprising insights. This is episode 9, part of our big 18-part deep dive into the incredible philosophical world of Ibn Sina. And today, we're really grappling with something fundamental, aren't we? What does it actually mean to be human? We're going to explore Ibn Sina's unique take on the self, the soul, and its, let's say, complex relationship with the physical world, moving beyond just the everyday ideas. Now, just a quick heads up before we really jump in. This deep dive comes from and is a translation of conversations with Iranian philosophers who have genuinely tried our best to be accurate. But, translating these incredibly complex ideas, well, some nuances, some subtle detail, they might get a bit lost along the way. So apologies in advance if there are any small discrepancies as we work through this. Right, so our mission today. We're setting out to unpack Ibn Sina's profound insights into the human soul. We want to reveal his perspective, which kind of blends philosophy and mysticism, often hidden in these rich allegories he used.
Absolutely. And what's so striking, really, is how clear and logical his way of looking at our existence actually is. It feels incredibly relevant even now. It cuts through centuries of debate with this startling clarity, It grounds our understanding of who we are, not just biologically, but as beings capable of real awareness and ultimately freedom.
Okay, so let's start with Ibn Sina himself. He's mainly known as a philosopher, right? A big name in the Mashai school.
That's right, the rationalist tradition, heavily influenced by Aristotle.
Yeah. But there's this other side, often less talked about his role as a great Gnostic or mystic, an Arif. Why do you think that mystical side gets, overlooked sometimes?
That's a really good question. I mean, his big philosophical works like Isharat, they get studied a lot. But Ibn Sina actually went beyond just pure Aristotelian thought. His deeper mystical insights, the ones that really show his vision of the soul's journey, they're often tucked away in these lesser-known symbolic writings.
Ah, so not the main philosophical arguments.
Exactly. They're not approached with the same academic rigor, perhaps. They're full of metaphor, designed more to be experienced, not just intellectually broken down. They need a different kind of engagement.
And one of those key symbolic works, the one that really helps unlock his mystical ideas about the soul or the self, is the story of Salaman and Absal.
Oh, absolutely central, yes. This allegory, Salaman and Absal, it really holds the essence of his understanding of our deeper identity. It's like a roadmap to the self that's more than just philosophy. It gets right to the core of our existence.
Okay, let's get into this allegory then. It starts with a king, symbolizing the active intellect, you said.
Yes, the active intellect, a kind of universal divine intelligence in his system.
And this king wants a child, but without traditional marriage. What's the significance there right at the beginning, that unusual desire?
Well, wanting a child without a woman signifies the soul's divine origin. The idea is that it's untouched by purely worldly physical connections. It's a birth that's not tied to the usual earthly processes. So the king consults his wise minister, who represents divine wisdom, providence, and the minister comes up with the solution. A child, Salaman, is born from a seed outside a womb.
Ah,
It's a powerful image. It represents the soul's non-physical birth from a higher spiritual realm, not from material creation in the normal sense, like a direct emanation from the divine.
a direct emanation. So this divinely originated soul, Salaman, he's then given to a wet nurse, Absal, to be raised.
Yes, exactly. And this is where the story really starts to show its deeper meaning. Because as Salaman grows up, he falls completely, passionately in love with Absal, his nurse.
Right.
And that right there, that's the core dynamic. It's the climax, really, and it's where Ibn Sina reveals the human predicament as he sees it.
The symbolism must be incredibly rich here. Salaman, Absal, this intense, almost forbidden love.
Hmm?
What do they stand for in his view of the self?
So Salaman is the human self, or soul. Ibn Sina uses terms like nafs or kud. It's our core identity, encompassing both spirit and body, but not reducible to either. Absal, the nurse, she symbolizes the physical world, the body, nature itself. She's the nurse, providing nourishment, sustaining the soul in this earthly life, giving it what it needs for its initial growth.
Okay.
So Salaman's passionate love for Absal, that represents our deep, often insatiable attachment to the material world, our desires for wealth, fame, status, sensory pleasure, our entanglement with everything that passes away.
Wow, that's a potent image, being entangled with the world. But you also mentioned it's an unlawful love. Why such strong language? What makes it unlawful in his philosophy beyond the obvious mother-son thing? Is some attachment okay initially?
That's a really important distinction, yes. It's unlawful metaphysically, not legally. A child can't marry its mother, right? Symbolically, it means the soul's necessary reliance on the world for growth turns into an inappropriate, ultimately damaging entanglement or identification with the transient world.
Ah, I see. The identification is the problem.
Exactly. The soul needs to interact with the physical world to develop. We'll get more into that. But identifying with it as your ultimate beloved stops you from recognizing your own divine origin, your higher potential. The initial nourishment from the nurse is vital, yes, but becoming completely bound by the nurse, that leads to spiritual stagnation.
And that's why he ends the story with that challenge.
Precisely. He says, if you are able, solve this riddle in atqata. He's inviting anyone with spiritual insight to understand this predicament and figure out how to resolve it for themselves, how to transcend this binding love.
Okay, so the soul has this divine heritage, a divine jewel from a hidden abode, you call it. If its origin is so high, why does it even come here? Why enter this world if it's ultimately meant for something beyond it? Seems like a detour.
It does seem like a detour, but it's a necessary one. The soul has to enter the body, engage with this world. It's absolutely essential for it to gain experience, to achieve its full potential, its perfection. Without this journey, without interacting with concrete things, specific situations, it would just remain like an angel, pure intellect maybe, but lacking the unique experiences that only the physical realm provides. It has to, as he puts it, drink from the breast of this world, to grow, to become individual, to actualize its unique capacities.
So how does that connection happen between this divine non-physical soul and the physical body?
Yeah.
How do they actually, meet?
Ibn Sina has a really interesting view on this. He says the human embryo in the womb reaches a specific point of perfect readiness, a unique, complex state of preparation.
Yeah.
At that exact moment, it's perfectly attuned, perfectly ready to receive the soul. There's no gap, no waiting. The soul integrates immediately. It's like a divine spark meeting perfectly prepared material.
So the body isn't the source of the soul.
No, not at all. It's the necessary ground, the perfectly prepared vessel for the soul to manifest and start its earthly journey of growth and learning.
So it's this paradox then. We need the world for growth, but the world also creates this deep entanglement, this unlawful love.
Absolutely. It's fundamental. This world, even with its evils and difficulties, which are really just limitations from a higher view, offers crucial experiences. It's how the soul gets to learn all of creation. It's a school, maybe even a crucible. But here's the key idea we need to grasp. Everything in time and space is inherently transient. Funny, he calls it.
Transient, Fia. What does that mean exactly? How does that impact our sense of self?
It means nothing in the physical world is ever truly equal to itself from one moment to the next.
Yeah.
You know the ship of Theseus idea. Replace all the planks. Is it the same ship? Ibn Sina would say, philosophically, no. A person, a mountain, anything seemingly solid, it's constantly changing, always in flux at a deep level. Our cells regenerate, our thoughts shift. This constant process of becoming means that if we identify mainly with the physical, we're identifying with something fundamentally unstable. Only abstract, incorporeal beings, mujarrad, he calls them, like God or angels, are truly constant. They exist outside time and change because they aren't made of parts that can change or decay.
That's quite a thought, applying that to ourselves. So this constant flux, this transience,
Right.
what does it mean for how we experience time and maybe our ultimate fate?
Well, time itself becomes this paradox, doesn't it? A fundamental tension. It's both friend and enemy.
How so?
It builds things up, creates, allows for growth, development, learning, all good things. But at the same time, it erodes, wears down, constantly changing and diminishing what it built. It's the very medium of our growth, but also the engine of our decay. So true remaining, true permanence, baqwa, is only possible outside the clutches of time, outside this relentless becoming. As long as we're in time, we're never fully equal to ourselves, always subject to this ebb and flow. No ultimate stability or fixed identity in the purely physical.
So how do we escape Salaman's love for Absal? This intense worldly attachment that ties the soul to the transient, stops it from reaching that baqwa?
Yeah.
How do we entangle ourselves?
The only way for Ibn Sina is through deep awareness. Agahi.
Awareness.
Yes. It means truly knowing, not just thinking you know, but deeply understanding that this love is unlawful because it binds something eternal to something fleeting. It means grasping the world's transient nature versus the soul's divine eternal core. It means, as he puts it metaphorically, not binding this divine jewel, the self, to the neck of a pig, representing the base transient world.
Wow. Strong metaphor.
It is, and crucially, this isn't just about doing or not doing certain things. Actions alone aren't enough. The actions have to come from this profound awareness, this deep conviction about reality and the self.
And the king, the active intellect, is unhappy about the soul, Salaman being trapped by the world, Absal. So where does Ibn Sina actually lay out the practical solution, the how-to?
He gives the roadmap in his Maqamat al-Arifin, The Stations of the Gnostics. It's the ninth section, the ninth namat of his big philosophical work, Isharat. He doesn't explicitly label it as the solution to Salaman and Absal, but that's what it is. It's the practical guide for freeing the soul from that worldly love and ascending towards eternal life. It outlines the stages of insight and discipline needed.
Okay, and this awareness, Agahi, you mentioned, how does it connect to intellect? Are they different things or basically the same?
So they're deeply intertwined. You could almost say inseparable. Awareness is intrinsically linked to intellect akal. In fact, for Ibn Sina, intellect is awareness.
Okay.
It's not just a tool that has awareness, it is the capacity for direct, unmediated knowing, like a light inside us letting us see truth. And this intellect, in its purest form, mirrors the ultimate awareness, which is God himself. It's our connection point to absolute reality. And to really get the soul's highest nature, we need this term mujarrad. It means incorporeal, abstract.
And physical.
Exactly. The soul's highest function, the intellect, is mujad. No weight, color, size, location. And crucially, not subject to time like physical things are. God is purely mujarrad. This distinction is vital because it's what gives the soul its potential for eternity, its ability to connect with those higher, unchanging realities. It's completely different from anything stuck in the physical world's cycle of change and decay.
And you mentioned the Mala Allah, the highest fullness. Can you unpack that a bit more? It sounds like some kind of perfect realm.
It is a profound concept, yes. The Mala Allah refers to the realm of pure, undivided, incorporeal realities. Its main characteristic is unity and fullness, ma. Think of it as the opposite of our physical world, which is defined by separation, division, and a kind of emptiness, kala.
How so?
Well, look at your body. It's divisible, right? Hand, foot, different parts. But can you divide your intellect? Cut a thought in half. No, it's a unified whole.
Right. Yeah.
That human intellect, because it's undivided, it reflects the nature of the Malala. It's our inner link to this perfect, unified blueprint of reality, unlike the fragmented, changing world our senses show us. And this ties directly into Nur, which means light, but not just physical light. Fundamentally, Nur means manifestation, appearance, ultimate clarity. God is the ultimate Nur, the source of all truth and being. The soul, because it's mujarrad, is constantly interacting with this Mala Allah, continuously receiving Nur. And receiving Nur means receiving knowledge, awareness, fresh insights directly from that unified realm.
So the intellect isn't just a static hard drive storing facts. It's always active, always engaging.
Exactly right. Aql, the intellect, isn't a container. It is the very act of intellection, a dynamic knowing process. Its core job is understanding things through their causes, their asbab. Our senses break the world into bits and pieces, but the intellect pushes for a shared, unified understanding. It goes beyond surface appearances to find the underlying reasons and connections. And this drive leads to Ibn Sina's really profound axiom.
Which is?
Every being that comprehends its own essence is simultaneously intellect, intelligent, and intelligible.
Wow. So the knower, the knowing, and the known become one in self-awareness. That's quite a statement about consciousness. Can you elaborate on that significance?
Precisely. In that moment of direct internal self-knowing, the soul is the knower, the act of knowing, and the thing being known. It collapses the subject-object distinction. This isn't just abstract theory. It completely reframes consciousness. It means true self-knowledge isn't about having an intellect or looking at a self, but being that unified, indivisible act of knowing. Your inner and outer worlds, subject and object, they merge. It reveals the soul's inherent unity, its reflection of the Mala Allah, and the result of being in this continuous state of knowing, receiving light from the Mala Allah. That's what Ibn Sina calls.
Waj.
Yes, kind of intellectual pleasure or delight, the highest kind. And sa'ada, ultimate happiness or felicity.
So real human progress isn't just moving horizontally, like collecting more stuff or experiences in life. It's more like a vertical movement, as you put it, like upgrading your core understanding, not just adding surface details.
That's a great way to put it. Yes, exactly. It's about transcending time and matter to connect with the Mala Allah, that realm of pure meaning, a journey from the fleeting and fragmented towards the eternal and unified. That's where true intellectual joy and ultimate fulfillment lie, according to him.
It really is amazing how Ibn Sina weaves together such deep philosophy and this profound mysticism.
Mm-hmm.
And that core idea, gnosis without intellect takes you nowhere, feels so relevant, so timeless. How does he manage that balance, you think? Avoiding pure rationalism, but also, ungrounded spiritualism.
I think he does it by insisting that true gnosis, real mystical insight, isn't irrational. It's not anti-intellectual. For him, it's the peak of intellectual activity, a higher way of knowing that goes beyond logic or doesn't throw reason away. His warning, gnosis without intellect takes you nowhere. It's against blind faith or just pure emotionalism being mistaken for spiritual truth. He ensures the path is one of clarity, of understanding, not just feeling.
Yeah, his influence was pretty wide on this.
Oh, huge. Even great mystics like Hafiz, the poet, they knew the Salaman and Absal story. They understood the weight of Ibn Sina's Maqamat al-Arifin. You can see echoes in Sufi poetry, that struggle of the soul against worldly ties, yearning for its divine source. It's deeply influenced by this whole allegorical tradition Ibn Sina was part of. And what's really fascinating, actually, is that his student, Bamanur, apparently traced the core idea of Salaman and Absal back to a saying from Imam Ali.
Oh, really?
Yes. The saying emphasizes that the soul comes from God's amr, the divine command, meaning it's a direct result of God's will, an emanation, not something created through the normal processes like, say, a rock or a tree.
So fundamentally different.
Utterly different. It signifies its transcendent nature, that direct link to the divine. It clarifies that Quranic verse, "The spirit is from the command of my Lord." It's not just defining it, it's stating its utterly divine, non-material origin, its special status way above the material world.
What an incredible journey today. We've unpacked Ibn Sina's allegory of Salamān and Absāl, really tried to grasp the soul's divine origin, its necessary trip through the physical world, and then the path to freedom through awareness, through intellect. Seeing the body not just as a cage, but as this prepared vessel. And the soul's amazing potential for intellectual joy, for happiness, by connecting to the Mala Allah. It really does give you a sense of our deeper human potential.
It really does, and maybe something for you to think about. Ibn Sina believed a mind that stops asking questions just goes dormant. So how can you cultivate that philosophical questioning, not just when you're sitting quietly, but in your everyday life, watching the world? How can you use that kind of inquiry to start distinguishing your true self, that aware presence inside, from all the external identities, the roles, the distractions that are always competing for your attention, always trying to tell you who you are?
A powerful thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Ibn Sina's profound philosophy. And remember, this is just part of our ongoing 18-episode journey. Plenty more insights still to come. And just that final reminder, this deep dive is drawn from and translates conversations with Iranian philosophers. We've genuinely worked hard to convey their insights faithfully. If there are any slight discrepancies, please know they're purely down to the challenge of translating such complex philosophical ideas. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep seeking that deeper wisdom.